This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
It's Monday night, it's RaceSpotTV. We are live once again here on the channel, and it is Barber Motorsports Park for week number 5 here of the season. Cars out on track for qualifying as things go. And Linus, we've got some old names returning and some big shake-up towards front of our field in qualifying so far, with some names up front that we hadn't expected for a while, but I want to point out one. The car of the beast, 666 Mick Watson making his return to the series, long time due. Nice to see some of the other older names coming back in, and we're not calling you old, Mick, but it's good to see you back.
It really is going to be interesting to see what he can do here today. He's actually qualifying 5th so far, but still 5 minutes left of this qualifying session, so anything can happen. But he comes back with a bang, putting it at the front of the field, so fun to see if he can keep up through the whole race with these guys, as he's actually just put it up to number 2.
So he has, we'll have to keep an eye on how that goes, but for the time being, we're going to keep our eyes on what's going on the track during qualifying. But Linus, for those of the viewers who weren't here last week, what happened? Who won?
Simon Edwards got his 2nd straight win. It was a pretty interesting race, a lot of incidents going on, and towards the end it quieted down a bit, as usual this season for some reason, but it was a very interesting race anyway, and Edwards had to get the win pretty much to keep up with the championship, and he did, so he's now only 13 points behind Katz, who got his 2nd place of the season.
So Anthony Catt being very, very consistent so far this season, and we'll have to keep our eyes there, of course, on Simon Edwards, although he's qualified right now back in the 7th place there for Simon Edwards. Going to make some good work on the start of this thing. We're at Barber, and this is one of those tracks that's very much a narrow one, as we talked about this in the past. It's a motorcycle track primarily. In fact, it's one of the big motorcycle museums here at the circuit. I know IndyCar comes here, but it's one of those places that really suits the Skippy. There's no real drafting potential like some other tracks.
No, there's a lot of corners back and forth and no real long straightaways like you said, so it's this is one of the tracks where it's most down to driver skill, and so far in qualifying we've seen a lot of drivers go off and crash and hit the walls and hit each other, so we're in for a pretty interesting race here today. I think just have to hope that most people can actually keep it on the track when it comes down to actual racing, because there's people hitting walls left, right and centre right now trying to get those times in, as we're following Anthony Catt here down the straightaway onto his next flying lap, see what he can do from 5th.
Well, let's hope they're just pushing the limits as the cars in practice and qualifying to see what they can do in the race. Weather conditions today, well, it's about 77 degrees in the air, mostly cloudy up in the sky. Track's about 90 degrees, so the track's retaining some good temperature here, and it's southeasterly wind varying between 2 and 4 miles an hour. In fact, it's just swung to the east, and it's kind of calm right now. Humidity's low for this part of the country. It's going to be in the 20% range, which honestly is pretty impressive considering as it's in Alabama. Normally it's much more humid, shall we say, than that down here. But right now the car's just getting their last few laps in here. Open qualifying session, of course, so we're going to see some variety in times there depending on who can get clean laps, and that could be a factor. Edwards has gone 2nd in qualifying just last time by, so that's definitely pushed him forwards behind Clay Hughes, currently sitting provisional pole.
He is, that's a pretty good time he's got as well. It's about 1.5 tenths. Watson again dropped back down to 4th. So good run from Anthony Cat. He really needs this if he's going to keep up with Cat in the championship. At this point he's going to close in quite a bit, but still got a long race ahead. 15 laps we're going to be racing, and once again a really big grid. It's about 40 cars that set time in qualifying, and there is 4 more cars sitting on pit road for some reason not setting their qualifying time, so we'll be somewhere around 40 cars on the grid here today.
Well, we'll have to see exactly what those guys will do with that, but we'll find out
second.
He did. That's a big improvement there for Anthony Cat, showing why he's been a very consistent driver so far this season. Maybe a little drafting can help. He's definitely had some help from, I believe that's going to be probably Patterson that's just in front of him. It is. Clay Hughes also at a lap, but he's behind a lot of traffic, so don't expect an improvement from him this time by. Certainly got to say, with time ticking away now, we should be right at the end here. We've got about a minute left, Linus, before this, so maybe another lap for these guys. But this race tonight, 15 laps around Barber, always ends up being an incident somewhere, normally at the front. It's one of those tracks that's just, the room runs out and, well, like just, oh, Alan Patterson just got helped into the barrier by somebody. I'm thinking there might be a little bit of slipperiness going on right now.
Yeah, they've been struggling all session long here, so can expect to see some incidents happening here throughout the race, I believe. Just have to hope there's no major ones as we get a replay here of what happened to Leah Hughes. He's got 4 cars in front of him, and they just hook each other into the wall, bounce right back out, and well, all of them got involved in that. So hopefully for him, he didn't need to improve his time. He still got that 1.5 tenths lead, so he got lucky. But like you said, it's really slip, and a lot of people making mistakes, so just have to keep your head cool in this race, and survival could be the key to getting a good finish here today rather than hard racing.
Survival always a factor in racing, no matter what car you're in. Survival is what you absolutely have to aim for in this sort of thing. But as we look towards the end of this session now, last seconds coming in now, that checker flag will be out now. Bang on time. We'll see exactly what these drivers can do in this race tonight, but I've got to say, the season so far has been a big change. It seems as though every season we see a completely different meta, shall we say, for how these cars perform. The je ne sais quoi behind the perfect Skippy race. It always seems to jump, and we see a different crop of drivers. For the longest period of time we saw a very consistent grouping, but of recent, the last maybe 3-4 seasons, we've seen a definite shift in how that happens, and I'd say a bigger variety in championship potential.
Yeah, it's good to see that we get new drivers up at the front all the time, and it's not just the same 3, 4, 5 drivers winning every single season, and it's going to be interesting to see how that will evolve over the next few seasons as well. Obviously, Fahim has always been up there, but once again he's not here today, so that's the 3rd race he's missing this season. Not going to be a factor. Simon Edwards has been up there for quite a while, as well as Cat, but Leah Hughes has just recently shown up, Matt Cox as well, Lee Anderson. I think it's the 1st season is all the way up there with these guys. So it's a lot of drivers that still got a potential to win the championship.
Yeah, they really do. Right, well, as things wrap up here, we've got most of our drivers hitting. Anthony Cat might actually, I've just been told, might change this. He's coming out the final corner right now with Patterson behind him. Will this be an improvement for Anthony Cat? Can he steal the pole at the last second? No, but Ewan Patterson jumps him, so Patterson gained there rather than Cat as they come across the line. Ewan Patterson up to 2nd place, and with that, we will go to your qualifying order. Claire Hughes takes the pole tonight with 1 minute 36.131. Ewan Patterson there in 2nd place just at the last moment, so Anthony Cat dropping to 3rd. Simon Edwards is in 4th with Lee Anderson and Clark Williams in 6th. Ben Daniels and Mick Watson back there in 8th place with James McRitchie and Matt Cox in 10th. Andreas Leach is 11th place with Neil Bamber, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, Daniel Tufts and Dave Kirkman in 15th. Kieran O'Flynn, James Ruth Jones, Simon Maltby, Ken Halliburton and SJ Dunning in 20th. Rest of the results on your screen. Do you want to point out Paul Smith, who's back in 21st? We'll keep an eye on him throughout the race with Race Spot Zone. As also the likes of Halliburton, Linus, 19th place, unusual.
Yeah, he did not show up for practice, and he got on track about 5 minutes before qualifying was over, so I think he only managed to get 2 laps in here today, so he's Just have to hope he got practice in during the week, or he's going to have a very big struggle here today with the low amount of grip that we have. So we have to keep a close eye on him, see how far he can get up the field.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, we're going to get ready for that race. The cars all taken to the grid now to get themselves started here tonight. 15 laps of racing around Barber Motorsports Park here in Alabama. And guarantee the racing will be hotter than the weather is right now, which is unseasonably cold, I'd say, for summer in Alabama, Linus.
Yeah, it is. It's usually a lot hotter here. But it's, well, cloudy, so maybe it's a rain season coming in. We don't know. We're not going to get any rain here today, though, thankfully, so it's not going to have to be any pit stops for rain tires or anything like that. Just flat out racing 15 laps all the way to the finish.
Certainly will be, and we'll have to keep our eyes on how that one will come forward from here as the cars get ready to move off tonight. And looking forward to seeing exactly how this one does play forwards here. Clay Hughes can have a big target on his back. The Welsh driver going to be chased around this track in Alabama by a lot of hungry race cars with points on their minds. Engines rev, green flag flies, and we're racing at Barber Motorsports Park. Big dive into turn one by the front grouping there. Everyone's single filing out the safest way through there. Back in the pack, some two wide passage through there. Simon Maltby was one of those guys. Is up through turn two now. And up the big climb now. Begins Hughes to 3. And then down towards turn 4 at the bottom. That big hairpin corner. Almost 180 degrees all the way around there. And it's the bigger braking zone here on the track. As all round goes Patterson. Right in front of the field. He slides backwards far enough that he's not blocking anybody. But that's given a big gap there to Hughes. And now, wow, Cat's up to second place. Free spot for him. But, oh, just cooked it into that corner, Linus.
He really did. He overshot it massively. SG Dunning spun on the exit of that corner as well, and Tim Adcock had to stop right next wheel to Pattinson, so that was a very unfortunate incident, but thankfully he slid off the racing line, but he had to sit there and wait for everybody to go on by, so that will drop him all the way down to about 38th, 37th somewhere, I believe, so very unfortunate start for him, obviously wanting a bit too much with that great qualifying effort, but it's all thrown out the window now, so he's got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
Certainly is, and that target on the back of Clay Hughes will have to now be, well, the dart will have to be thrown by Anthony Catt, who's now in second place, finding himself closing in with the rest of that pack on our lone leader in that 42 car. But right now, we're keeping our eyes throughout this one. A little bit further back from your lead, we've got some action going on just a little bit further back. It's behind Mick Watson there with Cox and McRitchie. Very close as they come across the start-finish line. Potential for some moves here, as is our Anders and of course, Cat's going to be in there too. Edwards has jumped himself up from that start to second place.
Oh, we got spinners off the first corner as well. Von Roberts is around, but he does not hit the wall, so he's going to keep on going all the way down to P31, 32, 33, I believe. Oh, he had a car slide in front of him, and then he just clipped the grass. Wow.
Yeah, there was a couple of cars that slid there. It was a car in front of him slid, he slid, then the car 2 cars back as well also slipped. That was just in front of Simon Maltby, in fact, as I think that was the 17 car of Kieran O'Flynn who spun. Maltby got on the grass, he nearly spun as well, everyone's spinning. Turns out the track might be more slippery than we thought. It might actually be that practice was a very good example of what we might be seeing in the race, as we seem to see a lot of cars losing traction. Yeah,
we really do. Well, hopefully it won't keep going like this. Everybody's going to spin out, but back towards the front of the field, Hughes also still has that gap, just over a second at the finish line. It's closed in slightly though. Simon Edwards doing a good job catching up to him. Anderson still in third with Anthony Catt right on his tail. Catt will want to get back into that third position, which he had at the start, but he just can't quite get close enough. Coming down here now in towards the last corner out on the front straightaway, see if he can get a move made down into turn number 1. Car right behind him though, Clark Williams just went in the grass slightly. He's going to lose positions to Ben Daniels, and McRitchie's going to pass Watson as well, and James Jones has gone in the wall as well. Just lost it all by himself.
With a big moment for himself, as we are seeing now cars taking each other out, or themselves out I should say, at this stage of the race. Seeming to be a far bigger problem there. as a lot of these guys scrambling to try and find grip on the racetrack. It seems like pushing as hard as they want to is actually becoming a bit of a problem.
Yeah, they're having to be very, very patient here, which is not something we're used to seeing in this series. These guys usually can just push all the way around the track, all the way through the race, but looks like they're all having to hold back, so not expecting too many amazing passes being made in this one. As we have side by side here, right behind Clark Williams, I believe that's Watson and Cox, but they're going to straighten themselves out before anything can happen.
They are indeed, and the gap to Clear Hughes, of course, is still a big factor in this race as they're coming now through the back sector of the track. 4-car breakaway, Clear Hughes out front here from Simon Edwards, Lee Anderson and Anthony Catt, but no real growth in terms of that gap between Hughes and Edwards, and no regain by Edwards either. That gap has stayed pretty constant, and it seems like Clear Hughes just has a good gap there, just outside the the 1 second bracket really, which is, as we know, the draft range for the Skippy. If you're closer, you can start to suck in more outside this gap. In fact, at this gap, it's just too much. Daniels, problems there. Ben Daniels, as he's running very slow around the outside. Contact with another car there. We'll have a look what started this, but Daniels dropped it in a second to last corner, slid himself around there like he was in a drift championship, clipped Clark Williams, which may have given Williams some damage. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Limps around the final corner, and then collision with the number 24 car coming out of that corner as things got very concentrated there. So problems already for the 027 in this race. We're on lap number 4, and we're starting to see a lot of people get sideways.
Yeah, we're doing Kane Halliburton has had a little self-inflicted incident as well, got in the barrier and put it into the garage. So this is see how many people we're gonna have at the end of this thing, because it's not very many people not making mistakes at the moment. As we see Anthony Catt still right on the back here of Lee Anderson, he just can't find a way past. He's got Simon Edwards right in front of him as well, so that gap up to the leader has come down slightly though, 8.5 tenths of a second at the finish line, so they're getting slightly closer, but no real big gain so far. As Catt is looking again to get a good exit here out of that fast chicane. He's going to have a slight look, but he's not going to be quite close enough.
It's not, but look at this one. Lee Anderson out front there of both Catt and Edwards. Could Lee Anderson see himself a good shot at a podium spot here? That'd be... problems for your leader! Clear Hughes with big problems there, which could spell a disaster. Coming through to the last sector, lapped car is in the middle of the racetrack, and it seems as though he pulls from, well, kind of bad spot to trying to get out of the way. I don't know why Clear Hughes didn't see that car where it was and go, I'm going to go wide around this guy and miss him. But no, he decided that he wanted to try and take the racing line. The 16's in the way, spun out. And that's Neil Stevenson was sideways, and he just drove into him.
When Lee Hughes got his eyes on him, he was going backwards, and then as Lee approached, he started going forwards to get off the track, and that's... Hughes reacted to his first movement, which would have been go to the inside of me, but then he just went forwards instead. And that's just very unfortunate misunderstanding between the two drivers.
Well, look at this now, Linus. Looking up front at the current racing situation, the gap has come down quite a bit between Hughes and Anderson. That's grown this little group here, as we've got Anderson, Edwards and Catt all wanting a piece of this. And Hughes could be nursing damage with how quickly the gap has come back. Obviously he lost some speed from that impact, but you can't see the car's in perfect condition after that.
I'm amazed how he can still be driving after that impact, but it must have just been really lucky there. And not hit him as hard as it looked, because he's still leading this race, almost half a second at the line, but that's obviously come down. Here's Lee Anderson, is almost right under the rear wing of him. Simon Edwards looking all over the back of Anderson as well, coming down here towards the last half of the lap.
Yeah, it really is, and looking really into what Lee Anderson's doing here. He's been holding this position incredibly well, considering that he's not been a driver we've seen in the top 3 very often, but he's always been around that top 10 region. It's great to see him up there in second, battling for the race lead really here as they come out to complete lap number 5 now. But you got to think Hughes is a marked man here. He knows his time is kind of limited, and they're coming for him.
Yeah, they really are, and they're trying everything they can to make a move here, but it seems like he's still got the speed they use. It's surprising that he's actually able to keep it up, but he's doing a good job. We don't know how much damage he's got. Anderson gets really close, but he can't make a move. Edwards had a look, but he has to stay behind as well. Almost gets too close to Anderson. This is Not something that we're used to seeing, not being able to draft past or anything, but at least he's doing a great job here in the lead, so see how long he can hold on.
Yeah, he really is doing a great job with this one at the moment as he tries to hold on to this damaged race car out front of the pack here at Barber Motorsports Park. They're all using absolutely every inch there of that chicane down towards turn 7-ish area. But as they come upwards now, this is going to be the trickier part here. Keeping that speed momentum in the faster parts of the track where he's losing ground. Look at that, how fastly Anderson just grabs up right behind him. Making things a lot easier here for Anderson just to gain time on track. And we've got the attacks from Edwards and Cat behind. Also not really holding back here. McRitchie's leading that second group. He's there with Cox and Watson. Watson making a strong showing in his return here. Up a spot right now from 8th where he started, looking like he might fight here with McRitchie and gain one of these spots. Maybe even take on Matt Cox at some point as well as they're coming through the final sector. Giving him a wide berth here. He doesn't know these guys like he did the older field he was racing with. So Mick Watson just feeling out the driver, seeing where he can make a move. Goes to the outside of McRitchie there. Up towards turn 1. Too wide through this corner with how slippery it's been. Could be troublesome. He backs out. He gives him room.
Oh, we have a crash coming onto the front straightaway. That's the 027, I believe. No, we don't have one of those.
Ben Daniels, was that?
Yeah, 027.
Yes, it was Ben Daniels.
Ben Daniels.
Yeah. Classic hooks the grass as he exits the corner too wide, spins into the inside barrier, impact, nobody else involved. Ben Daniels going to be out of this race tonight. Gap between Hughes and Anderson down to nothing here. It's about car length, same gap as there is to Edwards and Cat behind. You got to think they're going to pounce at some point here as you see Edwards pulling out there, cooling the air in the intakes, maybe looking for an opportunity to have a good shot at this thing, but I wonder, is Anderson perhaps brave enough to make this move here, or is he just being patient, hoping for a mistake?
I think Anderson is just being patient right now. They know they've got a really bad grip as soon as they get off the racing line, so I think they're all just making for somebody to make a mistake. Just staying in that single file line all the way through the top 4 up there in lap after lap so far. Right behind him though, James McRitchie is working on Cox, and Watson is sitting right behind him just watching. Cox has been moving left, right and centre every single corner, but he just can't seem to get it done. As the 45 of Neil Barber just clipped the grass a bit, but he's going to be able to keep on going in P11. So no real damage done there, luckily for him. Going to lose a couple of positions though.
Absolutely, we see Edwards ducking out yet again. Either he's very temperature nervous or he keeps trying to sight up opportunities. I'm not sure what he's going for here, but about halfway through the race now, on to lap number 8 at Barber. The tempo of things definitely is slightly slower now than it was when things began, Linus. At the very beginning, this was kind of a crazy pace we saw, and it seems to have really dropped back a notch.
It has, but here comes Edwards. He's looking to the inside of Anderson. Is this going to be the move? They're going to break at pretty much the same time. Edwards gets a little bit of a jump, though Anderson tries the undercut, but he's going to almost hit him, so he's going to have to back out, and here comes Cat. He's going to go for third. Anderson might lose out 2 positions here. He's got the kind of inside for the next chicane, which is pretty much straight through. So Anderson has got the preferred line, and Cat is just going to back out wisely there. So good move there from Edwards into the hairpin 7A, 1B and C, or whatever it's called, around this track. Good move from Edwards.
We'll have to see what the temperament is between Edwards, of course, and Hughes, and whether Edwards can make something happen here with your leader, or if it was just that he is simply that faster car, not that much damaged, of course. But Anderson now back into that 3rd spot. Also, folks, if you get an opportunity, do check out the description on this live stream or the video, depending on what you're watching. Campaign Against Living Miserably is a partner of RaceSpotTV. Calm, the award-winning charity dedicated to preventing male suicide, which is the single biggest killer of men under the age of 45 in the UK. In 2015, 75% of all UK suicides were men. That's quite something to take a look at. If you want to help them or want to check up for more information, or you know somebody who could do some help, links in the description, check that out. Clay Hughes at the front doing what he can here to keep the pace on into round number 5 here, onto lap 9 through turn number 2, the big 180-degree carousel. Every American track has a carousel, Linus. They may not have corner names, but they all have a carousel somewhere.
They do, and well, I don't really know why, but they seem to like them, as we have a car here without a rear wing. That's Simon Maltby. He's been a bit of an incident. He's just losing out another position there to Chris J. Morris. coming across the line. So he's all the way down now to 21st, Simon Maltby. I don't know what he's done, but maybe we can get a replay of that later on. Unless it's been going like that from the start, but he started 34th, so he's had a good race so far, gaining almost all the way halfway through the field. But unfortunate event for him, as we got the 99 here as well, making a move. Peter Cowan on Paul Smith. I believe that must be in front of me, not Dunning actually.
No, the move's being made on him actually here. Vaughan Roberts is trying to make the move here on Cowan. Cowan took an inside line there to try and defend, but not going to be enough there. Vaughan Roberts will come past him there to try and make this spot. He dropped back a few positions earlier on in the race. Paul Smith just ahead of them there, wanting to try and stay in front of this pack. SJ Dunning is the immediate car in front of Vaughan Roberts there. Wants to try and make a move on him, get himself a spot forwards here. Dunning up 5 spots, whilst Vaughan Roberts is already back 3, trying to regain those positions. Up ahead of them, we've got a pack here with Christopher Keeble just behind them. We've got John Torpy, Neil Bamber, and Dave Kirkman in front of that group. He's in 9th, up from 15th. Good moving from him so far. One of our biggest movers there, like I said, John Torpy, 22nd to 11th. He's up 10 places. And Keeble, 30th to 12th. So we've got some massive movers from kind of the mid-rough pack here. Stefan Nobis, 37th to 18th. So some huge moves by some of these guys. There does seem to be a lot of guys slipping off the track, perhaps the less experienced drivers, and we're seeing some people coming through here that didn't perhaps qualify as well, either due to that format of mixed qualifying. We'll have to find out. Keep my eyes here, of course, on Ritchie, Watson, and Cox. Watson looking here very quietly for chances on McRitchie and Cox. He's had a good go before, but he just seems to be feeling them out, Linus. I think we said that earlier. He's feeling them out, looking for an opportunity and waiting to take advantage. That's one of the drivers he's always been in his previous, events in the series. He's always been a very cautious guy who tries to find those chances. Not unlike, I'd say, the likes of Clark Williams. I just had a brain moment. Clark Williams, I don't smell any toast, it's all good. Oh, the lead has oh, we just saw that in the distance actually when I was looking at those guys in 4th, 5th and 6th. And there goes Simon Edwards to the lead ahead of Claire Hughes. We'll just get a quick replay on what happened there, as it was side by side into the first chicane. And round the outside he hangs it, which gives him the inside line for the second chicane. Cat comes to look on the outside. It was nearly 3 wide for a brief second. And then Simon Edwards took that lead there in a bold move, showing there is an opportunity around here. Lee Anderson dropped back to 4th in this group. Clay Hughes 2nd, Cat in 3rd there. And our first lead change so far in the race, if we don't count the car that was T-boned by the leader. Simon Edwards out front now from 4th on the grid here on lap 11.
Yeah, showing that he's still got what it takes no matter where he is on the track, and this could be his 3rd win of this 3rd straight win, I should say, of the season, if he can hold on to this. But still, 5 laps to go, anything can still happen. Lee Hughes is not a slow driver behind him, and Cat with 3 second place finishes, he'll definitely want to break that streak and get a win for once. So it's gonna be all eyes in the mirror now for Simon Edwards, as Lee Hughes moves right up on him again. He's not going to be quite close enough though into chicane 7, A, B and C, and into turn number 8. They're going very, very straight and high over the curbs there though, sliding into the last part of the chicane onto the next straightaway where Edwards retook the lead last time around. And here comes Lee Hughes. He's not quite close enough though, is he? Don't think he is, no.
Not quite close enough indeed. They're going to still keep
here he
going
comes
what
though.
He He looks to the outside here. It's not going to be an easy run around the outside of this chicane. Oh, he keeps his nose in there, though. Kept it in there on Simon Edwards, which brings up Cat here now to get involved in this one. They both run wide. Edwards holds the lead there after both of them ran a little bit wider than they wanted to. But Claire Hughes desperate to fight back at this. That car certainly, Linus, somehow miraculously not damaged, even though the side pod is kicked in. Hughes unwilling to give this away to Edwards.
Yeah, he definitely wants to try everything he can to get back in the lead here. He had it in his bag and then that lap car got in the way, but he's got Cat all over him. Cat is not making a move into turn 1 though. Maybe he knows he can't really do it. As behind him we have a pass, or a passing attempt at least, for 6th place. That's Mick Watson. He's not going to be able to quite get by McRitchie though, but he had a quick look. Very, very banked corners here as well, so you don't really want to get it wrong because you can go very far out in the grass and into the barrier if you do. He's going to try and close back in on him though here on the next straightaway. He's going to have a look again. That's way too far back though. He's going to brake late, but he's not going to get anywhere. McRitchie is going to cover it off and hold on to 6th. As we have a pass for 2nd place with Cat and Leah Hughes.
Yeah, we certainly are there. He tried to make it stick, but Claire Hughes holds it back in second place now. Claire Hughes no longer just attacking. Edwards, oh, car spun out in front of them. Oof, that could have gotten very awkward for a brief second there, as it nearly was a repeat of Claire Hughes' moment. I'm trying to work out who it is. That's the 30.
Daniel Tufts.
Daniel Tufts, indeed. Spun out there in a very awkward spot for them, but they made it through there without it being another collision. Claire Hughes desperate here to get back past, and although I think his main concern now is Anthony Cat's not willing to just let him sit there and try and take the lead. He wants to slice at this too.
Yeah, Cat is definitely going to want to try and win this, and Cat also has Lee Anderson right behind him. He's fallen back slightly now though, but he's still right there looking for every opportunity he can get as Lee uses right on Edwards again, but Edwards seems to get the slightly better exit onto the straightaway here. He's going to try and use the little bit of draft you get down here. They'll see if he can make a move into turn 1 or if he's going to wait. He's going to get close, but it doesn't seem like they want to do anything into turn 1 for some reason. Don't know if it's because of the angle or because how quick turn 2 comes up or what it is, but nobody's really trying anything into that one as we have another car around, and that is Nicholas Von Roberts, who's going to drop down from about P15 out of the top 20, and well, that's going to go pretty far down the order as he just goes way too high on the curb and loses it all by himself.
Yeah, he really did there, as they're going to have to keep concentrating here. Lap 13 of 15, so not too far to go here. Simon Edwards in the lead at the moment, trying to hold off the Welsh driver in Clay Hughes, with Anthony Catt and Lee Anderson bringing up the rear of that 4-car lead group. Matt Cox still leading from James McRitchie and Mick Watson there, and behind them Andrew Leach in a very lonely race all by himself. Dave Kirkman there with himself, Barber and Torpy still in that group there. Keeble, another loner on his own. SJ Dunning is fighting right now with Peter Cowan. He just got past Cowan again. And behind them, Steve Hefford also wanted to get into this fight. We appear to have lost Paul Smith.
Rip. That's
Take a look back to see what happened with old Paul Smith, RaceSpotTV's own. It happened in the last lap or so. I'm just going to try and find out exactly what that was. And he had to come into pits. I suspect he may have had a fuel whoopsie during the race.
Peter Cowan has been off as well. Into the gravel. I'm going to lose out pretty massively down to P27, 28 somewhere.
It appears, when I'm looking back at that, he was given an assist there by Steve Hefford to get himself backwards on the racetrack. Hefford had to rejoin too. It wasn't the off that hurt Peter Cowan, it was the touring car style chicane, hi, I'm here moment that happened. I think it wasn't intentional, but it still had the same effect.
Well, we have a moment here coming down the front straightaway. That's Kirkman and Barber. They are side by side. Kirkman on the inside, Barber slightly in the grass. So Kirkman is going to go through the car behind him, though. Torpy, he's going to go really wide to avoid it. I think he thought Barber was going to lose it there coming off the grass, but he did not. So that's going to be Kirkman up into P number 9. Barber down to P10, and Torpy is all over him now. Going to try and make a move into the next hairpin, but he's going to cover it off nicely. So no passes being made there. As we get a replay of another pass here, that's Watson going really, really wide. But staying on the racetrack, thankfully.
Yeah, it certainly is right now. Keep our eyes glued on this top group, though, as they're going to come to complete lap 14 and on to the final lap here at Barber Motorsports Park. And Clay Hughes now under attack from Simon Edwards, who sticks up the inside there. Clay Hughes running very tight. They're going to lose speed. Oh, round he goes. Cat, contact. Round goes Cat. And could this be Lee Anderson's opportunity here? He shoots for the middle. Can he get past Simon Edwards? It's an opportunity here for the 337. As it seems like Edwards will just regain that spot momentarily after he jogged wide on that penultimate section. Can he catch up now? Because there's a bit of a gap here to Clay Hughes, Linus. This could be an absolute winner for him.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Cat as well. He actually backed it into the barrier as well, so he's going to have some sort of damage to that car. He's all the way down into P number 7 now, actually. Lee Anderson, they're all over the back of these two. If Edwards and you start battling here, Anderson is going to be right there. And look at the cars behind. Cox, McRitchie and Watson, they've closed right up on these guys now. So a slight mistake here, and those guys can be right there as well to get in this top 3 battle. They're still about 1.5 seconds back though, so they can't get there all by themselves. As Edwards trying to get a run here on Hughes, but I think Hughes is going to hold on right behind them, though. McRitchie is making a move on Cox. He's going right up to his rear bumper. He's coming to the inside here. No, he's going to back out behind him, not wanting to go side by side into the chicane. Lee Hughes, though, still ahead of Edwards. Down the hill they go, half a lap to go.
right onto the back section here, and we see Edwards closing in on Clear Hughes, but is it going to be enough in time through the second chicane? One more chicane to go now, and he has to push hard. Clear Hughes getting a little bit wide there on the exit. Right up behind him comes Simon Edwards. Can he dive to the inside in time? This could be very difficult for the pair of them here as he hooks back. Still in second place, right up behind him, gives him a nose. Is not going to have a chance to get up inside, though, in time to make this happen, I don't think. That lap car's not going to be a factor in this one as Clear Hughes. He runs a little bit sideways there. Goes Simon Edwards. He holds on to it. Final corner. Here's the opportunity. Not going to happen for Clear Hughes there. Although Edwards does have the draft. Will it be in time for the line? It will not. Clear Hughes will come across the line here and take victory at Barber Motorsports Park. Simon Edwards in second. Lee Anderson there with a podium in third place. And Matt Cox, Rick Ritchie and Watson there coming across in the same order. They've been racing all night long. That was absolutely breathtaking, Linus. What a finish.
It was. Oh, and behind him, Kirkman has lost it in the second to last corner from 9th place. That's going to drop him down the order slightly. Down to P11, I believe that's going to be. Going to see if we can get a replay of that. Well, we are, but that was just houses. 2 positions lost for him, though, unfortunately. So here we go. He was on the outside and lost it all by himself. That's very unfortunate. But big congratulations to Lee Hughes having that mishap from a big lead, getting hit, or well, running into a lap car being parked across the track, and then being able to get back into the lead despite the slight damage he might have gotten. Wow, just great job by him, and well deserved victory.
Fantastic racing here tonight, and with that we'll give you our post-race results. Clear Hughes comes home with a victory here at Barber for round number 5, his first win this season. Simon Edwards there in second place with Lee Anderson in third. Matt Cox in fourth. James Ritchie is fifth with Mick Watson, Andrew Leach, Anthony Catt, John Torpey and Neil Bamber in 10th. Dave Kirkman, after his last moment there, comes home 11th with Christopher Keeble, SJ Dunning, Jack Hobbs, Steve Hefford in 15th with Stefan Nobis, Chris Morris, Peter Cowan, Matthew Delamain and D. Brown in 20th. Rest of the results on your screen. Linus, this one got exciting, I gotta say. It was a slidey, slippery racetrack, and these guys put on a show.
Yeah, they were taking it pretty easy early on at the front, knowing how slippy it was, but once they got used to it properly in the group, they just started racing it out, and that was an amazing battle towards the end. Very unfortunate for Cat, though. He tried everything he could when they got side by side. He really wanted that win, but slight contact and backwards into the wall. Thankfully, he still managed to finish 8th, and well, it was a runaway victory by the looks of it for the use, but that little incident really made it interesting, even for the win. So, still happy he managed to hold on to it, though.
So they did a couple of big moments in that one, of course. We saw the problem with Cat there that cost him some spots down to 8th place in the end. But we also saw quite a few little taps and outbraking movements. This track could definitely prove to be very slippery surface. It has cost these guys some real racing time, but the points season's so open. We're only on round number 5, of course, and with the points being even closer now, of course, Cat being further down the order, that's going to cost him some points compared to Edwards. This has got to check into a win column for Simon Edwards. He might not have won, but the points gap is what matters.
Yeah, it really is, and Lee Hughes is the 4th winner in the 5 races this season as well, so that's a pretty good spread on the winners, showing just how competitive this championship is. And championship leader still hasn't won a race either, if he still is the championship leader now after this. So still anyone's race. There's about 5 or 6 guys that can easily be in contention for the win here, and Anderson with the 3rd place as well, very important for the championship.
Certainly is. Well, thank you for joining us tonight on Monday Night at Skippys. Don't think anyone's planning to turn up for an interview, unfortunately, tonight, so we'll have to leave you lonely and wanting more. And if you do want more, that is, you can join us again same time next week. Otherwise, check out the rest of RaceSpotTV's content on this channel and on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll see you next time. Good night.